Hi, my name's Phil. This video is about my experience using Zwift as a pensioner and why I'm now going to try the MyWhoosh platform. It may still be of interest to younger generations just to see how MyWhoosh worked with this bicycle setup and how easy it was to get going. I will start by giving you some details of my Zwift experience over the last few years. This is my bike setup. Obviously you need a bike, and I've got a road bike, a Boardman road bike, which I used to ride on the road, as you can see from the mudguards. I've also got a Tacx Flow smart trainer, which is a wheel-on trainer, and that makes it easy to remove the bike if you want to take it on the road. I've got the Zwift app running on the Apple TV hardware box. So the cable from the Apple TV just plugs straight into a normal television. The smart trainer and my heart rate band link into the Apple TV via Bluetooth. Sometimes it seems to take a bit of fiddling to get the Apple TV app to link to the smart trainer and my heart band. As I'm 79 years old, I prefer to find flat routes in Zwift. So here we are starting in Tempus Fugit. It's a route that is flat and it looks as if it's based somewhere in the Grand Canyon style countryside, and later, as you will see, we ride through a western style town. Here we are later in my 30-minute ride. As you can see, my avatar name is PGB Gent 1945. That being 1945 being the year of my birth. And yes, that was in the Second World War. When in the app, my heart rate tends to be the limiting factor as to how much pressure I can put on the pedals. So my max heart rate for my age is around about 140 beats per minute, which means that at the fastest I can go is about 80 watts, or just over 1 watt per kilogram. I've been using this app for about 2 to 3 years, and 30-minute sessions 3 times a week, where I do get quite hot, and that necessitates a shower after each session. I recently decided to try to lose some weight. I was about 4 or 5 kilograms overweight, so what I did was I changed my diet onto a keto diet. The science of this is pretty simple. It's just that when your body burns fuel, instead of burning sugar and carbs, it burns fat, and therefore you lose weight. But of course you don't consume any sugar or carbs. Having said that, obviously I do enjoy a good lunch. I tend to have bacon and eggs for lunch, and for tea often I have burgers and asparagus, followed by strawberries and fresh cream. So yeah, I never feel hungry, and in fact as part of this diet regime I also fast. So after my evening meal I don't eat anything for 18 hours. And yes, it has worked. I have lost about 5 kilograms. My waistline has gone down by a couple of inches. I do feel a lot healthier. In this new regime, I decided to do a Zwift session every day. Still 30 minutes, but to make sure that I was in a heart rate zone where I was burning fat instead of possibly muscle. So yeah, I usually do it with an incredibly low heart rate of around about 100 beats per minute, which usually means my power is about 40 watts. So, why am I leaving Zwift? The primary reason is that they've increased their subscription by £5 a month to £17.99, and as a pensioner I can't really justify the extra cost, so I've decided to find a different platform. Also, I just use free rides. I'm not interested in the community aspect of this, where lots of others younger than me all have clubs and send messages to each other and go on club rides and community rides. I don't do any of that, so I don't really need a lot of these features. So this is where we are entering this old Western style town with its old banks. That's quite interesting to cycle through, and periodically there's a train that passes by and goes into a tunnel. So this is my last ride on Zwift, and in a moment after the train has gone by we'll take a look at MyWhoosh, which is a totally free app. So, although I'd like to run MyWhoosh on an Apple TV, and indeed they are testing a version of it at the moment, it's not currently available for general use. So I downloaded the app onto my MacBook, and I will show you in a minute a screen recording that I did. And basically when I had the app running, I just mirrored the MacBook screen to the TV via the Apple TV device. So in a moment you will see the screen recording of the MyWhoosh app starting up on my MacBook. So now the app is loading up one of the very few flat stages, but I'm glad there are some. I was surprised by how easily the app connected to my hardware, so that was a plus. So here we are, ready to start pedaling. The first thing I noticed in the app is that it shows my real name, Phil Whitten, and also when I set up the avatar, there's no grey hair for old people. So yeah, there's very limited settings, but at least there are some, and I'm sure it'll improve over time. So now I'm on my bike, ready to start pedalling on this ride, and first thing I notice is there's nobody about. There's just seems to be very few people riding in this application, but I suppose that doesn't really matter. All I want to do is just ride and see the countryside that I'm riding through. And the second obvious thing is that there's no ambient sound for some reason. I really don't know why. I'm sure that will get fixed at some point. In a few moments I'll switch to the screen recording that I did on my MacBook of this ride. One thing I noticed whilst riding a few routes which I've been trying over the last week is that it feels a bit like riding through a fairground with a lot of very bright gearish colours, which I prefer not to see really. I mean, all these banners and things. Yeah, but maybe the scenery will improve. I did try some routes that were in the countryside, but again they sort of put banners everywhere. So yes, it was all a bit garish. The other thing is that occasionally you do see people, others en route, and that has shown up as a red dot, or red dots on the left-hand little route map that you see superimposed on the screen, so you can tell if other people are approaching you. Also on the right-hand side you can see how far ahead or how far behind you they are. I'm sure there's a lot of bots in this program at the moment, but maybe when the number of users increases, the bots will be outnumbered by real people. I am using this app every day for a 30-minute ride, and as you can see, my heart rate is around the 100 mark, which is very low, and I'm pedaling very lightly so I don't get too hot. I don't need a shower after each session, but it is burning off fat, which I'm pleased about, and my visceral fat is significantly reducing. So overall I'm pleased with the app. As I said, I'm sure it will improve over time. I'm going to let the screen run for a few minutes so that you can have a good look at it and see if it's something that is of interest to you. There are features that I'm not using, so there are my bunch rides. There are sprints as well, so you can do sprints, and I assume you'll be able to improve your time on repeated rides. I've let the app run for a while, just so that you can see what the screen looks like, and what the route looks like. But overall I'm reasonably happy with it. I'm sure it will improve. I'm looking forward to the Apple TV version. But what I'm going to do now is to cut this video, and you can decide for yourself what you want to do.